What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we've got some blood sport to talk, some fucking beers to drink today. We got my buddy Noah here with us, and we're talking UFC 308. This is the UFC 308 Spectacular today. We're going to be going over some questions about MMA, let him make some picks, and just go off script, talk about 308 in general, what people want to fucking hear. So, I needed that paper. I didn't mean to throw it. But Noah, what's up? You pumped for this card, my man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I am doing great. I had a little weirdo pull up in front of my house a second ago, and I actually thought it was you.
I'll be creeping around sometimes.
Well, no, you pulled into my driveway and just sat there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, whatever. But no, this guy pulled up, and I was outside putting the chickens away, and I started walking up to his car, and it was some little kid, and he just pulled right off. I was like, fucking little weed.
So a man you don't mess with is a man messing with chickens at night.
No, you don't mess with me. And I hadn't even gotten to the ducks yet. So, I was in business mode. But yeah, we're talking UFC 308 today. We got a couple questions we're going to go over. Let Noah give us his opinion on some things around the MMA world and this 308 card. Let him make some predictions. I got to replace a prediction because Said Nurmagomedov, his fight got canceled versus Zaleski Dos Santos or whoever the fuck he was fighting. So we got 100 for me to put back up. And we'll let Noah make his picks as well. But we'll go ahead and get started drinking a little bit, and then we will ask the first question. I'll let you answer first, then I'll give my rebuttal. I didn't actually do any study for my questions. I only wrote the questions down because I initially had 4 people coming on here. You're the only one that stayed rock solid, so I appreciate it.
My best. Cheers.
All right. So, UFC 308 coming up. A lot at stake on this card for a lot of fighters. Title contention, number one contender spots, the title itself. So, aside from Max and Ilya in the championship fight, who do you think has the most to lose, and why do you think that, or what do you think they have to lose at this card?
I feel like there's a couple of different people, I feel like besides the main event, I feel like Ankalaev has probably the most to lose right now because Uncle Dana was saying if he don't put on a show for this fight against Rakic, then he's not getting the title fight with Alex. So, if he don't put on a show, go out there, do what he needs to do, then he's going to be stuck where he's been. And, everyone's been uproaring about how he needs to fight Alex. He needs to fight Alex. And
yeah. I don't know about Ankalaev, man, because everybody says, yeah, he needs to fight Alex. The dudes he's beating are chinny as shit. He gets draws with everybody else or no contest. He's a weird fighter. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's not this wrestler everybody thinks he is. He's got a 32% takedown accuracy. His striking's okay, but it's nothing with Pereira. I really think Rakic is going to wipe him this weekend. Rakic is fucking huge. He's a good wrestler. He's a good striker. I think he's actually better at striking than Ankalaev by a pretty good margin. As far as his explosivity, he's a lot more athletic. But my fighter I think has the most to lose is Khamzat Chimaev. It's 2-1 favorite in this one. He's coming in, all the hype in the world. People are kind of starting to jump off the bus, though, because he keeps canceling his fights, which is annoying as shit. But a 5-round fight against Rob Whittaker, his first natural 185er he's going to be fighting, at least in the top 15. He had Gerald Meerschaert, but not a top-level guy. Starched him in 8 seconds or whatever. Khamzat loses. Where does he go from here? Because the whole thing that makes him marketable is this undefeated fucking psychopath that is just destined for a belt at whatever weight division he wants. He can't make it to the octagon most of the time. But if he loses, where's that put him? Because now you got to start actually having him fight a lot to get back to title contention, or else he's just a bust. He's going to be just like Zabit Magomedsharipov, who had to retire due to injury or just getting sick all the time. He was a beast, but he couldn't make it to the ring. So that's who I think has got the most to lose. But Ankalaev does have a lot to lose. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Khamzat just got hard telling because, he's just all this big hype train, but he hasn't stepped in the ring. He's still got, from the day we're recording this, he's still got 3 more days where he can drop out. That's a lot of time for him. He'll drop out 20 minutes before the fight if he really has to. So it's kind of, I feel like if he does drop out, then, I feel like he might have to reassess, see if he really wants to continue making that cut back down to 170. Because if he loses, if he even does lose this fight too, it's either making the worst weight cut ever, which he can't make, or he stays here and he's just be a mid-tier fighter. So
yeah, I mean, and losing to Rob doesn't make you a mid-tier fighter. It's just when you are so inactive and your whole thing is being that undefeated beast and you drop it, now the game plan's out. They just need to put you in a main event and you gas out and lose. I think that's another one. I think Rob wipes the floor with him after the second round if he doesn't get starched super early. But I think Rob is just bigger than anybody he's fought. He's going to be stronger, better wrestler, better striker. He's going to be faster than Hamzat. Hamzat's going to be better at all those things at the beginning of the fight, but he gasses so quick, and you see that in every fight.
Yeah, I feel like especially too with like Hamzat, we've just never seen him in like a 5-round fight. Will this be a 5-round?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which that's gonna be interesting. That's the thing for him. None of us ever see him go 5 rounds before. And Rob, how many times he done this? At least 4 or 5 times minimum.
Oh, I think he's probably had closer to 10 5-round fights. When
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's got the experience there already, so he's got that little further edge. I feel like if Hamzat doesn't knock him out or submit him, then if it goes to decision, it's gonna be Rob all day. Like,
yeah, I think so too. I don't think there's a chance that Hamzat wins past halfway through the third round, but I really don't think he's going to have a chance after halfway through the second, but that halfway through the third will probably be his last win. Kind of like the card we saw this past weekend where Michel Pereira came out real hot against Fluffy Hernandez, and then Fluffy just beat the shit out of him for another 4 rounds. But let's move on to our next question here. We got 4 title fights left after this for the rest of the year. Do you see any new champions by the end of the year, and who do you think that's going to be? Or do you think everybody's going to retain?
Man, I might be a little biased because I'm tired of the hugging from him, but I hope Shavkat really comes through and he puts the nail in the coffin on Bilal. I'm tired of seeing all these hugging, just, playing the ground game champions. They don't even progress. That's the thing, is they're standing there, they're hugging on the ground. And
right.
It's tired to see as a fan who wants to see action, I love wrestling. Yeah, it's cool, but at the end of the day, when you're sitting there just doing the small moves and you're not trying to make that next move to the next position, it's just tiring to see as a fan, especially when you're paying, like $70, $80 for a card and you're in a main event. You want to see real action, not just hugging.
Right. Bilal's got to be a co-main on any pay-per-view he does just because of that. I'm all for wrestling. I mean, you look at a guy like Hamzat, super exciting wrestling. Umar Nurmagomedov, super exciting wrestling. Guys that attack and advance and try to
They're very aggressive with it,
Right. They're actually offensive, where Bilal, even his striking is to get him to wrestling, and his wrestling is just mainly a control thing. He's not looking to finish you from there. And yeah, I want Shavkat to win that fight. I don't think he will, because I haven't seen any holes in Bilal's game recently at all. The guy just it's gonna sound bad. He fucking sucks. But he's such a smart fighter that he's
so technical.
He's not even technical. His boxing technique is dog shit.
For sure. But with just the technicalities of the roles, he's very technical.
Exactly.
He knows how to get points. He knows how to get the judge's favor. That's what he has in his favor.
He takes the fight to where the other guy is not good. It's not that he's great at that spot, but he knows, okay, you're not a good striker, so with Sean Brady, I'm going to stand up and strike. You're not a good wrestler, so with Stephen Thompson, with Leon Edwards, I'm going to wrestle you to death. It's a smart way to fight, but what a way to not make fans.
Yeah, exactly. He don't know how to promote at that, so it's maybe he could promote and he just does that, be cool. But he's just a stale fighter overall.
Stale fighter.
Yeah, he's got more personality than Leon, I would say, and that's not saying much. But yeah. I feel even at that,
yeah.
What kind of holes do you think that he would exploit on Shavkat, though?
Well, he would be able to out-wrestle Shavkat. And Shavkat, we've never seen him have to go the distance. Bilal's got a chin. Bilal's got a fucking gas tank. And I could see him gassing Shavkat. Because even these guys that are in incredible shape, when they're finishing everybody in the first and second round, or even the third round, but they've never done a 5-round fight, you can be in the best shape in the world, but you don't know how to manage the gas tank until you've been there a few times. You just don't know, because you go out there and you're like, I think I'm good. By round 3, you're like, why am I so much more tired than I would normally be by the end of a fight?
And even though with that, with Bilal, though, he's got his lights turned off a couple of times too. So if Shavkat does hit him with that one punch, there's a chance that he could drop.
He could, but Shavkat, he's not a one-punch knockout power. He's more of a combination. And Bilal hasn't been knocked out since I think the Vicente Luque fight in 16 or 18. Like, dude's got he's cured up the holes in his game, and that's why I think he'll win that fight. I don't want him to. I just think that like odds are he's gonna have a better chance to win that than Shavkat does. But the fighter, let me think of the championships that are still up for grabs. Because like I said, I made this list expecting 4 people answering questions. I wasn't even going to give my input. I was just kind of going to mediate.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Max and Ilya. We got John and Stipe. We got Shavkat and Bilal. And Pantoja and Asakura. None of the titles are changing hands. Maybe Max and Ilya, but
I think Max is definitely another one, at least for me too. You know, I'm personally rooting for Max. Like I think Max has it. I know Ilya definitely has the advantage over him, but if it goes to a decision, I promise you, it's going to be Max. And that is his takedown defense. Is just nobody can get through that. I know Ilya's not being able to get through that at all.
Legendary. It's like Jose Aldo. Have you seen who Alejandro Pantoja's fighting for the 125-pound strap?
He's like first time fighting UFC, and he's already getting sent. I haven't seen anything on him, but I did see that was his first fight in the UFC, and he's fighting for a belt. So I mean, it's got to mean something, you know.
So he's a beast, but you know, you look at his record. He's got split fights with Manel Kape and split fights with Kyoji Horiguchi. Manel Kape's a beast in the UFC. Horiguchi was a former champion in Bellator and in Rizin. Asakura, he's been dominating over there. But when you're losing over in Rizin every couple, like 1 out of every 3 times, probably not going to do great in the UFC, especially when he's a great striker. The dude's like, he could go out there and fucking Mike Tyson Pantoja and knock him out real quick. But if Pantoja gets him down, that fight is fucking done. I hate betting against or betting for people that have no wrestling, which is why I always stay away from my favorite fighter, Alex Pereira, when he's fighting, because I'm like, all you gotta do is shoot a fucking takedown and get it. But
what do you think about that John and Stipe fight, though? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I'm the biggest Stipe fan in the world, and he's gonna get fucking worked probably.
Yeah. I was just so impressed that first fight they had against Cyril at heavyweight. That was just one of the most impressive, like, domination. Like, when 1 minute putting Cyril Gahn in a chokehold and just fucking making him tap. Like, that's impressive. Like, not many people made Cyril look just so, like, human.
It would be like if I told my daughter, I was like, hey, we're going to fight all out and see who wins. That's how John Jones looked against Cyril Gahn. He went out there, ducked a punch, shot the takedown, and just fucking snapped that neck. Like,
he made it look so easy. Yeah, like nobody's ever really made it look that easy. And Cyril's a great all-around fighter too, and to make him look like that, that's what makes me feel like he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. But I don't think he's got John Jones' ability.
And he hasn't fought in like 4 years. But that fight was like, you see dominant performances where dudes like 50-45, Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, 50-42 fights, but what John Jones did to Cyril Gahn in that fight, I don't even think he landed a punch. Just takes him down, puts him in the weirdest guillotine ever from a like mounted position, but not.
Everything looked like it hurt, you know.
Oh man, buddy, that looked like his neck was about to snap.
Like he made it look so easy, it almost looked like it just didn't hurt.
So watching it live, I was like, "Why is he tapping?" But yeah,
man, that's what I thought. I was like, "Why is he tapping?"
But you go back and watch it, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Like the crown of his head is being pushed down, and his chin's being pushed up. And
how do you think it's going to end? Do you think this mid him? Like,
I don't know. I want to say decision, John. I want to say
you're just doing all five.
If it's decision. Well, I don't think John's going to submit Stipe.
You think with TKO since he's got a little bit older, you know, his chin is already tested. He got sent to the shadow round by Francis in the last fight.
That's different. That's like fighting Alex Pereira. Like,
right.
John's probably not going to want to strike with Stipe because his boxing is so good. Stipe's is. Like, I see John going for a wrestling heavy approach. He might. No, he probably won't even try any Muay Thai in it. Or not a lot, because Stipe's dirty boxing, his body work, and short hooks, they can knock you out. So I think it's going to be actually a boring fight where John gets the unanimous decision in that.
I feel like I think you could probably submit him within a second or third, but I feel like if he gets past that third, probably gonna go to the decision for the most part.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's gonna be. I
And
don't know. Like
John has
for me,
this thing
especially,
about him where like he's gonna beat everybody. It seems like, but if he doesn't get you out of there early, it's like he's not hunting the finish anymore. He's just like, okay, I'm fine without pointing you. I know how to outpoint you, so I can do that. So yeah, like I could definitely see that if it doesn't get finished early, it's not going to be a finish in the fourth or fifth because Stipe doesn't gas like that. But let's move on. We got question number 3. We got who are your top 5 pound for pound fighters right now? Dana White's super pissed about the rankings and how bullshit it is. Khalil Roundtree didn't jump one spot for his fight versus Alex Pereira, where he almost knocked him out. You had Renato Moicano absolutely fucking starched Benoit Saint Denis. He didn't move up one spot. You need to stop with this crazy asinine thought by the MMA media where the only way to move up is to beat someone above you. Khalil Roundtree showed he is one of the top guys at 205. Renato Moicano, he beat the guy one behind him. It doesn't matter. He should have jumped like 4 or 5 spots. That shows you how much of a beast he is. Like they need to go off the eye test more than just, oh, you don't get that spot till you beat that guy.
Yeah, that's like a thing with that too. I would say he's probably top 3, if not the second best, because nobody's even put up the slightest fight against me. Say Jam, but like regardless of that, like
yeah, but
Khalil gave him the most heart out of anyone. You know, like everyone. Like I feel like Jen didn't even give him that much heart. Like Khalil literally left it all out there. That's more impressive to me than anything he did. You know,
Jan was trying to survive and trying to win on points, and you don't win by holding someone down. And anytime he tried to do work, Pierre got up and beat him up. But who are your top 5 pound for pound right now? Every weight class, who you got? Or not? Don't give me every weight class. Give me your top 5 across the board.
For sure, number 1 right now is definitely Alex Pereira. He is the most active. He's the best skill set. He's probably the most dominant fighter right now in the whole entire sport.
4 knockouts, 4 title fights, 2024. I mean, the guy's a fucking psychopath.
So my second one, you know, I just gotta give out respect, but at the same time, I put active John Jones. You know, like I don't want to put him in there just because he's not active, but you know, you got a fight coming up in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so you have to almost put him in there right now.
Okay.
Because if he doesn't pull out or whatever, then yeah, he'd be out of my top 5 regardless. But definitely number 3 right now is Islam. He's just real dominant. Nobody's really like battle tested him super hard. I mean, there've been a couple fights, but nothing you haven't
that
seen
made
him.
you worried. Like
Exactly.
He's been tested, but nothing to be like, oh shit, dude! Like Islam's about to get beat because you knew he just has it in the bag each time.
And my number 4 for this week is going to flip flop depending on who wins right now, but it's either going to be Ilya or Max.
Okay, yeah.
I put Ilya right now because obviously he just beat Alex Volkanovski. Like, he was one of them dudes I never thought would be beat. Like you used to watch him, and then that Ilya face looked like a shell of himself. Like he did not look like the same Alex that he did before.
Yeah, I agree. So me and my buddy were talking about that also when he took that fight. And Ilia Topuria's record is very padded if you actually look at the details behind his record. So we'll look at his last, I think, 4 fights. So he fought Jai Herbert. Well, first he fought Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall had a broken hand in that fight, which I'm not saying it would have gone any different, but he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's trying to do Imanari rolls and couldn't get it done. So whatever. He beats Ryan Hall, unranked, not a big deal. Scary guy, but not a big deal. Then he fights Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert almost knocks him out in the first round. Ilya comes back, gets the knockout, so he proves himself. Whatever. Next fight, he's got Bryce Mitchell. And Bryce Mitchell goes into that fight with the flu. And he just manhandles Bryce Mitchell, who outpowers everybody. And I don't think it's because Ilia Topuria is so much stronger than Bryce Mitchell and so much of a better grappler. I think the flu had a lot to do with that. And then you have Josh Emmett, who I think is super washed, still has a lot of power, but yeah, he's old as shit. He was coming off a knockout also, knockout loss, so beats Josh Emmett by decision. And then Volkanovski, coming off the Islam Makhachev knockout loss, kind of short notice fight, and he, like you said, looked like a shell of himself. He looked kind of flabby, looked soft in the midsection. Just didn't look like his same self. He looked scared of the punches when they were coming in, even if they didn't connect. He kept his chin real high. So I don't know what Ilya is about. I still don't. I put the bet on him. I don't know. Like Max could go out there and be like, hey, buddy, you have power, but that doesn't work on me. I don't know. But my top 5 that I got here, and I'm
last one, last one.
Sorry.
Last one is definitely DDP right now. I mean, the
Oh.
dude beat Sean. And I mean, he beat Izzy too. So he's got the good record right now. And I would say, like he's the weirdest fighter I've ever seen. His fighting skills, his style is the weirdest. But I mean, it works. Like nobody's ever really given him like a true. Like he ain't lost yet.
He's super unskillful.
So I can't him out of top 5.
He's a fucking bull. You're right. You are right. That made me change mine a little. My number 1, I'm a huge Alex Pereira fan, but when I think of pound for pound, let's put everybody at 205. Perfect weight class, UFC mainstay since they've started. If you had Islam at 205, like proportionally, Islam is beating everybody. So Islam's my number 1. And then you got Alex Pereira, and then Tom Aspinall, because this dude is so disrespected in the rankings. He's like number 8 or 10 in the pound for pound. He doesn't get fucking touched. He just goes out there and starches dudes. Tom Aspinall, number 3. I left John out just for inactivity in this next fight. I don't even view it as a title fight. It's more like a legend versus legend fight. Just one for the fans. So I'm leaving John out. 4, DDP. Thank you for reminding me. Dude's a fucking weirdo. Can't fight for shit, but he can fight. He can fight. He can't.
Somehow he pulls out that win every single time. It's crazy. You never expect him to, and he always does. It's almost cringy to watch. Like he's very a cringy fighter.
Oh, it is, but I love it. And then number 5, we got Merab Dvalishvili. Not even close to the top 5 in most people's pound for pound, but this dude, the gas tank he puts on, the takedowns that he shoots, the relentlessness, he sucks at striking. But when you think about how can you beat him, there's not many ways. Now, he is going to lose his next fight, and that'll put a new guy in the top. But if he fights Umar Nurmagomedov.
Well, I heard that he's going to be fighting Sean next, because Umar, didn't he just get a fight booked?
Yeah, Umar's fighting Song Yadong. He should wax him. Song has a lot of power, so he could sleep him, but, I mean, Umar Nurmagomedov is so much skillfully. He's not the wrestler Khabib was, but he's still like one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. Khabib's just a different story, but he's got Khabib in his corner, basically controlling him with a fucking video game controller. He's got way better striking than Khabib or Islam. He leads with his kicks. He like throws kick jabs instead of using his hands, and he's got good hands. Merab will not be able to take this guy down. If he does, he won't be able to keep him down, and if he tries to keep him down, Umar's going to reverse it and beat the shit out of him. And that's just because they're that Dagestani Nurmagomedov, they're better than you. They're better than me. They're better than everybody. Like,
yeah, if I didn't have John in there, I was going to put Merab in my number 5, but I just felt like, I had to at least with John's fight coming up, put him in there. But Merab is definitely my number 5, if not. That's what I was sitting there thinking. I'm like, man, I want to put Merab in this because he is a very just dominant fighter right now. Nobody's really put anything to him, and he just made people like ragdoll. Like that moment with Cejudo where he picked him up and put him and starts talking shit to Dana. Like that's a legendary moment. Like,
so Cejudo was hurt going into that fight. It was a close one. I'd like to see that one run back, but it's tough for a 38-year-old at 135 to get to the title, and I don't think it's probably going to happen. But we're moving on. Do you have a fight of the year? What do you think has been the fight of the year up to this point? You tell me Max and Justin.
So that would be my favorite fight moment for the year for sure.
That's good.
But I would say my favorite fight of the year was definitely, I'm going to butcher this dude's last name, Zellhuber and then the Ribovic on 306, 307. That was one of the most insane fights I've ever seen. That was a prelim fight, and that had me on the edge of my seat. Like, that was one of the most beautiful UFC fights I've seen all fucking year.
I was watching that at
crazy
on Rachel's birthday with her, and yeah, that fight was fucking nuts. So
dude, that thing had me on the edge of my seat. That was a crazy fight.
That was. They were just swinging. I think Jean Silva, every fight he's in, just the entertainment value can be fight of the year. But I think that fight of the year, and it's a sloppy, ugly fucking fight, but it meant a lot. Izzy versus DDP is going way under the radar. I mean, the whole time, if you listen to commentary, they're kind of writing Izzy off. Like, he's eventually going to lose, and he eventually does lose that fight. But he's putting it on DDP. He drops him at one point, but DDP's just so fucking awkward that it didn't even look like a drop. He just, like, fell, grabs the ankles like this, and takes him down. And, I mean, Izzy did good in that fight. It was a weird, sloppy fight. But my favorite thing to do is pick actual prelims that weren't on pay-per-views, that were, like, on the actual undercard that's not even getting aired on everything. Daniel Pineda versus Darren Elkins this past weekend was a fucking bloodbath. Dude, these guys...
Yeah, I didn't tune into that, so I don't know. I'll have to watch that back.
Dude, these guys beat the shit out of each other for round after round. And Elkins gets a unanimous decision. Pineda retires after. They're both old as fucking dirt. But it was just... I love those warrior-type fights where like the Ribovics fight, but for some reason it's a little less entertaining when they're younger and they're super athletic and they're throwing those shots and they're coming back so quick. Like, when those old guys are swinging and they get hit and they're like, like, just getting sloppy but going to war because that's all they fucking know.
Yeah, it's like make a name yourself, though. I mean, that's going to be the only way that...
Hey, I'm going to make a name for myself here today, you heard?
Yeah, I didn't see that fight. I'm about to rewatch that fight then. I didn't hear much about that.
Dude, it's exhausting watching that fight because the striking is awesome in it. Like, they're just cracking each other. But the wrestling in it, both of them are, like, so fidgety in the wrestling. You're like, oh, my God. Like, one of them is about to get up. One of them is about to land ground and pounding. Nothing's happening. They're just always in the transition, always fucking working, like, just draining each other's gas tank. And I love that fucking... I'm ADHD. I love high energy shit. I love seeing shit just fucking like boom, 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 boom. So that fight to me was like, it might not have been the fight of the year, but like as far as undercard fights, that's it for me. A couple of years ago, I had Steve Garcia versus Julian Erosa as the fight of the year in 2022. That if you ever get a chance to watch that fight, just look it up on ESPN Plus. Type in Erosa and look for the one him versus Garcia. That's one of the best fights I've ever fucking seen. These guys are cracking each other, dropping each other over and over again. In the third round, it's super close. One round each, obviously. And in the third round, it's pretty even. Erosa's like 30 seconds left. He's like, come on! And fucking, I'm a warrior, and throwing fucking kicks. And then, like, with like 10 seconds left, he shoots a takedown. And as he's taking him down, he's like, ah! And gets the fucking win. Dude, it's one of the most entertaining fights you'll ever watch. Steve Garcia versus Julian Erosa, and I never hear anyone talk about it. Even after the fight, they weren't talking about it.
Yeah, I've never heard much about that before. I never heard much about that at all.
That one was fucking awesome. All right, we're going to move on to number 5 here. So, with PFL absolutely shit in the bed, they did a little all right with their pay-per-view, but not really because I bet it did under 50,000 buys because who the fuck buys PFL, and they didn't advertise it at all.
They did 15,000 with Francis?
I said I bet it'll be less than 50.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Because, well, dude, I think I talked to Smitty about it. I talked to my buddy Doc about it, Cody. I think I asked you about it, and you were like, I didn't even realize it was going on because they don't fucking advertise.
Yeah, I literally heard that he was fighting, but I thought it was a joke because nobody said anything.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, Francis is fighting. You're like, oh, yeah, I bet. He's been boxing for so long. Why would he do an MMA fight? You never heard a single word about it. And then just to drop a bomb, like, hey, Francis is fighting this week. And then, like, against who? Like, who? And the PFL could even put up a fight against him. I didn't see the fight personally, but I just knew it wasn't worth my time to even watch. I seen the clip of him just on the ground and pounding. Like, oh, that's all I got to see.
That's what the fight was. Ground and pound finish. That's all it was. Yeah, they suck. I'm not going to make you listen to me rant on PFL because I do every single episode just about. But with them shit in the bed constantly, one FC, one championship, they have champions asking to be released. They're releasing people left and right. They just released former 3-division champion Reiner de Ritter. Demetrius Johnson retired. Sage Northcutt just got released. They're just letting everybody go because of all these weird contracts. They can't get them fights. They don't have the money for it. So, with that being said, are there any lower-level MMA promotions that aren't at the UFC's level that you could see overtaking one of these two promotions to be the number 2 in combat sports going forward.
So, of course, I was kind of talking about it the other day. I wanted to say the Karate Combat League. Like, that's something I really like right now. I feel it's interesting and different compared to a lot of these other things. It's like the idea of it. There's a lot of big money behind it. I know they have good investors as well. That are like a lot of high-end names that are investing money into this because of like the things that they're seeing with it. So I feel like that's on the up and coming right now. But I feel like what might actually take over too soon is probably going to be the bare knuckle fighting, because I just feel like right now, especially with Connor at the helm of it right now, like he's a big name. He's going to draw on people, and people just want to fight because Connor's there. You know,
Right.
He's a big name to bring into a sport like that. And I love it too, because I mean it's like a gladiator sport. Like it promotes more actual fighting rather than like the ground and pound, because I just don't. I'm a huge wrestling guy myself. I like the actual like stand and bang type of thing. So it's just nice to see. It's like refreshing too, because it's not. You know, people aren't going to wrestle there. If they do, it's going to be very minimal, because nobody's going to the bare knuckle fighting to be a wrestler. You know,
you can't point fight in BKFC either. That's what I love about it. Like, you go in there and it's just fucking carnage. So I like those answers, because I don't think either of them will be the number 2, just because like they're gonna be big, but they're gonna eventually be on a separate plane than the UFC. Yeah, exactly. Like everybody has to connect themselves to the UFC and combat sports anymore, unless you're boxing, to get anywhere, just to have notability, get their retired guys, get the up and comers that are going to go over there eventually. But with BKFC, did you see what Conor McGregor did the other day after the main event?
Where he doubled the purse like without even the owner knowing. The owner looked at him like, "Are you paying for that?"
That booger sugar is fucking strong, ain't it, buddy?
Oh yeah, bro, it's crazy. That's like I don't know if Conor will even fight anytime soon, bro. He's like on a booger sugar like vacation. Like, I don't know if he's ever coming back from it either. He's got 2 fights left on his contract, but I don't think he's going to fulfill them 2 fights.
Hey, I've been around a lot of crackheads in my day, and I've never seen one get so much publicity.
Well, I've seen, like I was watching this video the other day actually with Connor, and his sister is married to the biggest Irish gangster, and he's like part of like a huge criminal organization over there.
That's been known for like 15 years, dude, or since he's been in the UFC. He's been part of the IRA, baby.
Mm-hmm. And his sister was dating like the head hitman from it. He got 15 years, and then he came out, and now he's dating Connor's sister. So he's got infinite booger sugar glitch.
Hey, real quick, don't call them fucking criminals. They're freedom fighters. Fuck the British. They took our country from us. Go Ireland. So, with that being said, don't call them criminals. The IRA is fighting for our freedom, because back in the 1800s, the British only let us eat potatoes and made us ship out every other crop we grew because they didn't grow their own. They killed over 50% of our population by doing this. It's huge genocide. We lost a ton of our history, ton of our population. It's fucking nuts.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, guy's a freedom fighter. Babe, I know you heard that. I get fired up about the Irish.
Aye, maybe.
Alright, so, that being said, lower promotion that I think has the best chance, and I'm so confused why they're not bigger than they are, is KSW. They're out of UK, out of Europe. They do a lot of those cards. They sell out fucking stadiums like every other month. These dudes.
Really?
Yeah, and it's one of the major pipelines to the UFC. What's the guy that's fighting Bruno Silva? He's coming from there. A lot of guys.
Rafael Sequel?
No, it's Rafael Nurdzimov.
Oh, it's Ismail, right?
Ismail Nurdzimov, yeah.
Yeah, Ismail Nurdzimov.
Yep, that guy. So,
which
KSW, if you ever get a chance, like their shows, they're like PFL. They suck at production. But if they didn't suck at production and they got that crowd volume in there, their shows are fucking nuts. Like they sell more tickets than UFC could ever. And it's not because they're bigger or better, it's just they go balls to the wall. In Europe,
quality of production.
Well, in Europe, those combat sports are just fucking, they go nuts. WWE, in England and France, MMA, boxing, all of it. They go fucking nuts. I mean, Tyson Fury and Dylan White sold out Wembley. Anthony Joshua and Oh, who did he just get? Dubois. Daniel Dubois. They just sold out Wembley also. So I mean, it's fucking it's a fever over there. They love it, and KSW's got it right. But they're not dumb. I think they're one of those kind of promotions. It's like we'll bide our time. We'll let all these people make their fuck ups, and then once they crash, we'll just come in and be the default number two. And they work with the UFC. They send their talent up to the UFC, so they're not going to be getting crushed by Dana White like these dipshits like Don Davis who make promotions.
Mm-hmm.
He made a fucking commercial about how his fighters are better than Kayla Harrison, who won his fucking championship 2 years in a row. And the only reason she lost is because she was bored in her last fight, fucking fighting tomato cans. I love you.
I would say on that topic though, the KSW and the Ismail Nadig, he was like another person that I feel like he's got a lot to lose though right now too. I feel like because he was 2-2 in the UFC, and ever since he's been out, he's 4-3 right now. So I mean, if he underperforms, like he could be on his way out very quickly. I don't know how much his contract is for, but if he doesn't show up, he's gonna pack his bag real quick. Because I mean, I don't know why they signed him truly right now as it is.
Dude, I was saying the same thing on my last episode. I was like, this is so bizarre. The guy's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Those 2 losses are by finish. Fucking bizarre. 3-3 since he's left the UFC. That's not a good record. Like, what are we fucking doing?
Yeah, I don't really know, like, what, I feel he's definitely got a lot to lose right now. I mean, I feel like I personally pick him to win because, I mean, Bruno, I feel like he's on his way out right now. He's a little bit old, and I just feel like Bruno has a lot to, he doesn't much to give anymore. I feel like his gas tank's kind of gone, and Ismail, he's like, 28 right now?
Yeah, but Bruno has had the shit. Let me go back to my notes from the last episode, because he's 1-5 in his last 6, and it's almost all fucking killers or absolute bullshit. So,
which, yeah, I do agree. I remember hearing you saying something about that. Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like his chin is just so battle-tested at this point. And he's gotten...
He's got 20 knockouts and has never been knocked out, Bruno Silva. His only TKO loss ended up getting switched to a decision because it went past 2.5 in the 3rd round, is to Chris Weidman, who poked him in the eye 5 fucking times in that fight and then talked shit on the mic after he poked him in the eye, and he said, hey, if you get poked in the eye, don't drop to the ground. Dude, you detached his fucking retina, went in with your fingers, reattached it, detached, reattached, and then detached it a fucking 5th time. Bruno Silva, though, his last 6 fights, listen to this and tell me how you think most people would do. So he lost to Poatan. He lost to Brendan Allen. He lost to Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert has the most finishes in the UFC in the middleweight division above Anderson Silva. Brendan Allen's a fucking beast, rising contender. Shara Bullet Magomedov, you're big on him. I'm not. Alex Poatan, you heard of the guy?
Never.
And then fucking Chris Weidman, who knocked him out with an eye poke. So I think Bruno Silva is going to go out there and be like, hey, y'all must have fucking forgot and sleep this dude quick or choke him out. His only weakness, he's got like 7 submissions against him, but this Nerdiev guy fucking sucks on the ground.
Really?
Yeah, sucks. I think so. I mean, watch me get fucking put in my place and he gets a goddamn twister submission with an armbar.
Yeah, it's a flying armbar.
They're like, oh my god, this guy, they said he's got the best jiu-jitsu we've ever seen, but he's never been out of the gym.
His Mighty Mouse flying triangle.
Oh my god, yeah. I would... I'd go, like, withdraw all my bets and just donate them to fucking DraftKings. Alright, so we're going to move on to number 6. 5 predictions. Give me... It doesn't have to be 5. However you want to do it. Give me some predictions for UFC 308. What you got coming at us? What's going to happen?
Sure, I feel like we have a possible fight on the year away with Max and Ilya. I mean, I know Ilya is saying somebody wants to go out there point down right away, which Max said is very dumb, which I definitely agree with. That's a very dumb thing to do. Like, that's something at the end of the fight. Like, you're really badass, and you stand there point down and you give him a chance. Like,
yeah, let me go out there with the power puncher and fucking do that.
Yeah, that's the thing too with Max. If he stands there and tries to trade off with Ilya a lot, like, he might get caught. Like, I'm the biggest Max fan in the world, but I feel like there's a point. Like, I don't think he should be standing there trying to fight and just like bang with him every single time. Like, I feel like Max is really going to have to like point him out and just really take him like the old school way to win. Because I mean, Max. He's probably one of the best boxers in the UFC. He's going to piece him up, but he's going to do it right. You can't get greedy because Ilya's the last person you ever want to get greedy with.
Yeah, and the people that beat Max usually implement a low calf kick a lot early. They just fucking crack his leg over and over. He kind of neutralized that with Justin Gaethje. But also, Ilya Topuria doesn't throw calf kicks at all. I've never seen him throw it. So, I mean, I don't know. I want Max to win, but something in my gut's telling me that Ilya is going to be the one that cracks his chin, which pisses me off because he's so fucking crazy.
I'll be so mad.
Dude, you're going to buy me a new 70-inch screen TV.
For sure.
That one in my living room, when it happens, I'm going to pick it up and fucking throw it down.
I would say my next one is, though, I feel like Rob's going to KO Khamzat, dude. I think he's going to send him a shadow realm. I really, really got it good. I've seen a lot of people, like, because I was personally, like, really thinking Khamzat, but everyone's picking Rob. I don't know what it is. There's, like, some air right now. Like, nobody really wants to pick Khamzat. Like, everyone's leaning towards Rob.
I don't know why anybody would pick Khamzat. It's a 5-round fight. Rob, the only guy that's finished him early is Dricus du Plessis, and that guy's a weirdo who is doing something. I mean, he's doing something. The guy's a fucking giant. But only guy to finish Rob early is that guy. Other one is Israel Adesanya, who was putting everybody in the spin cycle at that time until he got figured out. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think this is Rob's fight all the fucking way.
And I just feel like, back to the Ismail fight with Silva, I feel like if it goes to decision, Ismail's going to win. I feel like the only way Silva is going to win is by knockout.
Yeah.
If by knockout, I feel like Ismail's got a very good chance of winning, if not the 100%. If it goes to decision, it's going to be him all day, because I just don't think Bruno's got what it takes to really stretch it.
I think he would win the fight in everybody's eyes, but for some reason the judges are going to give it to Ismail. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's what I'm kind of thinking too.
And it's over. It's over in Abu Dhabi, and those fucking judges over there in the Middle East love the Georgians. Love everything.
Oh, bro, if you're from the Middle East and you're fighting Saudi, oh yeah, it's a wrap. That's like the best bet ever to make is pick everyone from the Middle East over there.
Shara Bullet. You got any thoughts on him? Well, I'll let you get through your prediction.
Oh yeah, no, that's the part of my prediction. So.
All right.
Sorry, I think honestly he's going to squeeze out another decision. I don't think he's going to lose, dude. I don't. I think he's going to squeeze out. He might be a little decision artist. I don't think he's going to take it out. But the thing is, he's got something to lose too, because if he doesn't go out here and knock these dudes out, the hype's going to kind of die down on him too. So he needs to get a knockout if he wants to have this hype train keep booming on him, because people are kind of like lower and lower and lower in his like expectations.
Yeah, because where's the fucking hype at? You come into the UFC, 3 fights, 2 decisions, 1 TKO in the 3rd round, and you didn't look that great in that fight, and you're gassing in every fucking fight, dude. Like, Shara Bullet is gonna lose this weekend. I put a big bet against him, I think, but Shara is going down, buddy. This is the downfall of Shara Bullet. They're not even going to worry about getting him licensed in America with that fucking eye, because he's going to lose to this guy named Armin fucking Petrosian, who is a good kickboxer, has a good gas tank, and he is a terrible wrestler, but he's a better wrestler than Shara Bullet, and Shara has no fucking gas tank. Shara throws wild and has fought wrestlers that can't do takedowns. This is going to be a fucking fraud check.
I definitely think it might be a fraud check, but I just feel like somehow he's going to pull it out. Like, Armin, he just is not too impressive. I mean, I don't know exactly what his streak is right now in the last 5 fights, but I know it ain't great. I know he's lost at least 2 or 3.
2-3, I think he is.
So I feel like Charlotte's probably gonna find a way to get done. I don't think it's gonna be pretty. If he does, it's obviously it's gonna be a knockout. But I think he's gonna squeeze it out somehow. But I feel like once he gets past this dude, I'm probably gonna fade him because I feel like that's where the line's drawn. After he hits that top 15, I don't think he's gonna be able to do what he's doing right now.
Once he gets taken down once, he's fucked.
Well, that's a fair bet to make.
So
my biggest prediction for this weekend. This is what I was saying in the beginning. I'm probably gonna murder his last name, Rafael Sequeiro. I think he's gonna emerge as an up and coming star. So the crazy thing about him, I don't know if you know much about him right now. He's 11-0 right now in the light heavyweight, and he's got 8 KOs coming from just the first round. So I feel like him right now, I feel like that's a big, I think it's a bold prediction to make because I think he is going to be the next best thing. Give him about a year and a half if Alex stays on track. That could be a big fight to make.
So Ibo Arslan, I think he's from India if I'm not mistaken. He's one of the only Indian fighters on the roster. But this dude swings bombs, heavy-handed as fuck, but I don't think he's going to have a gas tank. I agree with you. Sequeiro is going to win. And I think you thought Sequeiro should have been a plus 600 dog. He's plus 100.
Plus 100?
Yeah.
And
at least that's what it was 2 days ago when I checked.
What is, who is he fighting?
Ibo Arslan.
Arslan?
Yeah, Arslan's
are you talking about that fight itself?
Yeah. Oh, are you saying he's going to knock him out? And
Arslan, yes. So I think he's going to probably knock him out. My bad. I thought you were talking about a different fight. But, yeah, Arslan, I've looked at, I don't know if you've seen clips of Rafael. He is a monster. He's got some crazy power behind him. He's only like 20, he's 28 or 32. I think he's 32. But he is a very dominant fighter, dude. He's 11-0 right now. There's no chance. Like, if he makes out first round, maybe arrow. But I think truly that Rafael is going to put him in the coffin.
Well, Arslan's going to gas before Sequeiro will. And, like, Arslan is a fucking muscle freak. The guy goes out there with his hands like this almost, and he just swinging to knock you out, and he's hoping that those big fucking muscles get it. And we've seen this happen so many times at the heavier divisions where these guys are knockout artists where they're from, and they have no other game other than the knockout when they get to the UFC. And if they can't get the knockout early, they're fucked. And I know that's kind of Sequeiro's game too, but he's got a big advantage on the ground. I think if you watch film on him, he's better than Arslan on the ground. Arslan can wrestle, but he can't submit. He can't do jiu-jitsu. He doesn't know how to defend submissions very well. He just uses his strength to get out. I'm with you all the way on that one, though. Sequeiro is going to get that dub. And I think
I think he's an up and coming star in light heavyweight. Light heavyweight's dead right now. They need someone like him to come up and make a name for himself. And he does put on a show. He'll probably get fast tracked. Maybe his next 4 to 5 fights, probably 5 for sure. If he stays on, he'll be definitely fighting fucking Alex before we know it.
How are you gonna say light heavyweight's dead when it's been defended 4 fucking times this year? It's just been cleaned out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels dead because of the domination in it right now.
Yeah, it does. So was that 5 for you? Was that all 5 of them?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me check here. I was gonna say Uncle Live by KO as well, but I feel like he's going to KO him.
He could.
That's not what I got though.
All right, so build a card for me. Your perfect pay-per-view main card. 5 fights. We got 1 title fight on it. You get a co-main. You can make it 5 or 3 rounds. And then you get 3 undercard fights that you can have fill out in what order you choose. So give it to me.
Okay, so I feel like my first one definitely is going to be, I want the Alex versus Tom fight, Tom Aspinall. I really want to see that fight happen. I feel like that's more interesting than John Alex right now because Tom is just, he's hungry. He wants to fight someone like that. I feel like that'd be a good test for Tom to see really who he is. I mean, Alex can fight.
That's going to be for the heavyweight title?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. So that's your main event. I was just
Most
making
definitely.
sure I put it down here. All right.
Yeah. And then for the co-main, I want to see Connor versus Dan Hooker.
Okay.
I feel like that'd be a real explosive fight. I feel like Connor, he's got that great reach, and Dan's just a monster. He's not afraid to take a hit. So, I mean, Connor's a striker. Dan likes to bang too, so it'd be a good fight. Just for, I'd like to see Patty versus BSD.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be a good fight for Patty right now. I feel like it'd be a quality, just see where he is, and get his feet wet.
Okay.
And then Bam Bam Tuivasa versus Derek Lewis. I feel like Bam Bam, he's kind of been just thrown in the washer lately. I feel like Derek Lewis, he's just he's an anchor in that heavyweight division. See where he's kind of at.
That'd be a good fight to add. They have fought already, but and Bam Bam won, but Bam Bam's on like a 4 or 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like right now this would be a good idea to see where he's at this moment. Because he just keeps taking L's, and I just want to see him get something back on his feet. And then my last fight would be Kyler Phillips and Rob Font.
They just fought last
I
weekend.
feel like it's going to have to be like running back, though.
It wasn't a good fight. Rob beat him up.
I feel like Kyler got more to him than that, though.
I think
I feel like
Kyler is
Kyler's a
someone
monster.
the UFC really wants to build, and he just doesn't have it.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like he's a very great fighter on the up and coming, but I just feel like he just need to run that back. And I just feel like Kyler is a great fighter. I don't know, he just didn't show up or.
I think that he just doesn't have the striking that people think he does. I think that he's a really good fighter, but he doesn't have that striking. So, my card is one of the fights has already been booked, but I'm going to open it up with Patty versus Renato Moicano. Give Patty a chance to move up and Moicano a chance to make some more money. It'll be a great fucking fight. That's the opener. Number 4, the second fight of the night, we got Kamaru Usman. This fight's already been booked for, I think, UFC 312. He's taking on Jack Della Maddalena. Great fucking fight. Number 3, retirement fight for both these men. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 3, the squash match. Number 4, we have a catchweight at 195 pounds. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 3 in MMA. For the fans, baby. For Izzy, the send-off.
Hey, good fight.
And then after Max destroys Ilya this weekend and takes my money with him, he's going to take on Diego Lopez in the main event of an absolute fucking...
That'd be a crazy fight.
That would be an insane fight.
Yeah,
Holloway would knock him out. But, great fight. So that's my card. I think that's probably the best card you can fucking make right now.
That's a quality card right now to make.
Yeah, and you don't want Alex having a huge chance at losing in the main event. Losing his title on the best card that you make. I look at the possible results, and if Max loses to Diego, nobody's going to be upset. Diego's a fucking stud. He's been on his way for a minute now. And if Alex and Izzy fight, Alex is obviously going to kill Izzy at this point. It's just what it is. But it's a fan favorite fight. It's going to get people interested. It's going to sell the tickets.
It's definitely selling crazy.
Dustin versus Justin. Kamaru versus JDM, Patty versus Moicano. I mean, shit here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 champion or former IC champions on the card. Can't top it.
No, not at all. Not at all. That'd definitely be a quality card all around.
That would be an awesome card.
If I didn't know, for me, if I need to do like a mega card or just like a regular card, I want more or less like a regular base type of card, like what Dana would actually do, like not just like
I wanted you to go International Fight Week. Give me the best card you can.
Yeah, I went just with like a 306, 307 type of thing.
Something realistic. I get it. This is what we want, though. We want the ones that sell the pay-per-views that go over 1 million, baby. And that one's going over 1 million. So
it definitely might be close.
This is gonna be a brain scratcher. We got the seven questions we were gonna ask out of the way. If I were to give you $1,000 to put up, because I got to put another 100 up on one of these fights, but $1,000 put up on this card. How are you breaking it down? I'll keep track of your money as you go. Just tell me the bets you would want to put in on 1,000 on this card.
So I got five bets already on here. So I probably throw. Let me see. I definitely throw Renat. Fucker. I don't know how to say Renat. I throw 200 on him for sure.
What's his odds?
278.
Minus
278.
I'll put him at minus 280 to be safe.
And then Raphael, I'd throw another 200 on. He's minus 120.
Siqueiros? 200 on him.
And then I'd throw 200 on Rob. He's plus 200.
Yes, sure.
And then plus 200 as well. I'd throw another 2 on Max.
Okay.
And minus 300 coming in with Jeff Neal.
Okay, that's a terrible pick. I'm just fucking with you. I mean, kinda, because Jeff Neal's so inconsistent, but he could just go.
Oh, you never. That's why I hate betting on him.
I in my last show I said how much I love to fade Jeff Neal. I love to do it. So
yeah, every time I bet on him, he always loses.
Every time. So with that being said, I have to put 100 back up to make up for the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight. Since we have a show after a fight's been canceled, we will go ahead and replace that and not just take our money back. But I think I'm going to be going with Chris Barnett over Kennedy and Chekwa. And Zechkwu. Let me see what the odds are on that fight, because I feel like they have it. Oh, God. Chris Barnett's a plus 525 favorite. I don't know. I don't touch fights like that. But Kennedy and Chekwa is making his heavyweight debut.
Like, that's definitely gonna be a great fight to see. I feel like, especially
Barnett's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's explosive.
So we're gonna put the 100 down on Matus Rebecki. He's a plus 250 dog. I was on the fence about him earlier this week, and I was like, I don't know, because Uralbi is a fucking beast. But we're gonna put 100 as a plus 250 dog to win 350. Because you know what? Scared money don't make no fucking money, Noah.
Oh, never.
Betting favorites all over the place. Get your shit together. So, are there any fights that we didn't talk about that you're just super pumped for, that you were looking at like, man, I cannot fucking wait for this one?
Not really.
Yeah, I feel like this card it's such a great card, but it sucks it starts at 10 a.m. over here. It sucks.
That's why I don't know. I'm surprised that they even do that. I figured they'd still do UFC. Like, yeah, it definitely would come down to the money.
Saudis pay for it, or Abu Dhabi pays for it. The United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, that's like the only thing Saudis, they got that money.
And you know how everyone was bitching at UFC Manchester, wherever it was, when they were over in London, England. And they were like, man, it's 5 a.m. local time. Why are they doing it there? Because they don't put the money up that the fucking Saudis and that.
They just want the UFC there, so they're going to pay regardless.
Right. And over there, they're like, we want you here, but we also want it on our time. So you're going to have a daytime card and fucking deal with it.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, it don't surprise me. Saudi got enough money to do that. So at the end of the day, it makes sense.
And after the last Riyadh season for boxing, I think the Saudis told Turki Al-Sheikh that he's gonna have to do all the shows over in Saudi from now on, because it was just a big flop ticket sale wise.
Well, they're gonna have to pay next time then.
They're gonna have to pay exactly. But I think that's all we got for you. I want to appreciate
Yeah,
Noah for
that's
coming on. And
thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you for tuning in. We're very close to 100 subscribers. We're still going to do the giveaway when we get there, if we ever do. And make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of these fights. Let me know how dumb you think me and Noah are for our takes on this shit. And yeah, this has been Blood and Beer. I appreciate you. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, thank